This is definitely the saddest death in all of the Squid Games. I feel so bad for this player, witnessing his friend's death right in front of his face. Sometimes players die in the games, but some are way more depressing to see. In today's video, I'm going over the top 5 saddest deaths occurred in Squid Game, ranging from seasons 1 all the way to season 2. Like and subscribe if you guys want the new trailer release for the final Squid Game season. I think we all want that. I'm gonna start off with season 1 players since that's the very first season. Coming in number 5th place is Byung-ji. Why is Byung-ji's death sad? Wasn't he a criminal? Well, yes, but the way he died is quite depressing and unhumane, honestly. And he also knew it was coming around, and he was also expecting his death. Byung-ji was this organ harvester that harvested on dead players' organs, a very vile act for him to do. That's why the audience can't have any sympathy for someone like him. But how did he die in such an unhumane way? Well, when the frontman found out about this act, he decided to put an end to it by first killing the pink guard involved, then killing Byung-ji by several pink guards. Honestly, he got what he deserved, but maybe it would have been better if he spent life in prison. That would have been a better punishment. Alright, let's go on to the 4th saddest death in season 1 now. Oh-il-nam. Oh-il-nam was the creator of the entire Squid Game, but he lied to everyone though. In season 1 he came into the games, pretending to be this innocent old man. Well, he is old but certainly not innocent. Oh-il-nam's death was sad only because it was a touching death in some way. Oh-il-nam died on a hospital bed right in front of Ji-hun, revealing who he really was before he passed away. The only reason it's a sad death, not because of him actually dying, but because it was sad for Ji-hun. To know he was behind everything in that scene. Ji-hun had already been through so much and had so much trauma already. So for him to know the person behind the games right in front of him was a very big shock. Poor Ji-hun. The 3rd saddest death is Chosang Wu. Chosang Wu's death was very sad, I can't lie. In the final episode of season 1, Chosang Wu meets his death, and it's very upsetting for 2 players actually. One is Ji-hun and the other one is Chosang Wu himself. Chosang Wu and Ji-hun are supposed to fight to the death in the final episode, but Ji-hun ends up overshining him by pinning him on the ground, making Chosang Wu extremely vulnerable. But Chosang Wu just accepts it and doesn't try to keep fighting. Instead of Ji-hun killing him or one of the pink guards, if Ji-hun doesn't want to be the one to end his life, Chosang Wu takes his own life instead by stabbing himself in the neck. How brutal is this really? Ji-hun absolutely breaks down when he dies, since they were actually childhood best friends, so this is extremely upsetting for Ji-hun to witness. Honestly, I wouldn't say Chosang Wu deserved death, but he definitely deserved to be punished for his acts in some of the games that I'm about to speak about. Coming in 2nd place for the saddest death is someone that's apparently called the Queen to some girls, Kang Bock. Kang Bock's death actually started during the glass bridge game, because when it exploded, many glasses were flown into the air, and when this happened, Kang Bock unluckily got stabbed by one of the pieces. Later on, it's time for her to change into the finalist uniform, where she painfully takes out a piece out. At this point, she is very weak and vulnerable, which can cause another player to attack her, and that's exactly what happened. Chosang Wu ended up stabbing her in the neck. Poor her, she was so weak and she couldn't fight for herself. This scene is very sad because she was obviously so weak and Chosang Wu just took advantage of her. Poor her, honestly. Alright guys, I'm going to move over to the saddest death in Squid Game Season 1 now. The beloved Abdul Ali. And I think you guys probably guessed that. Abdul Ali honestly died in such a wrong way. Again, by the player Chosang Wu. That's what I mean guys, he was not the best guy. That's why I say he deserved a pretty bad punishment. In this episode, players were formed in pairs to compete against each other. One of the games were the marbles game. One of the pairs were Ali and Chosang Wu. There was no reason to be betrayed by Chosang Wu since he was portrayed as this intelligent player. It didn't cross Ali's mind. Chosang Wu tricked Ali in a very manipulative way. He basically told Ali that his marbles wouldn't be safe if he went around the maze carrying them like that. So Chosang Wu offered to keep them safe. But little did Ali know, that was the worst mistake he ever did. Instead of Chosang Wu keeping the marbles safe, he switched the marbles into rocks. I think you guys can guess what ended up happening to Ali after this. When he realized they were rocks instead of marbles, Ali started to cry, then sadly being shot. This was an incredible sad scene to witness, And I think we all felt for Ali's betrayal. Ali was such a genuine and innocent player, so for him to die this way was just honestly so upsetting. Chosang Wu just shouldn't have cheated like that. Alright guys, now it's time to move on to Season 2 players now, and this is going to be good. We first start off at Kangmina, coming in number 5. Kangmina was this clumsy girl, only interested in her looks. Honestly, she's definitely not the brightest person in this season. She's even trying to flaunt her looks in front of the pink guards. What the hell are you actually doing? You're in the brutal games and all you care about is showing off to a guard? I think you got some problems. She even complains about her outfit not being suitable for her style, something so unnecessary to say. Kangmina is also a player with the lowest depth, so she's in the games for the actual fun of it. Let's get into how she actually died though. Her death isn't so sad, but it's more upsetting since she was the first player to die in the games. The players are moving, and Kangmina has a decent position up front in red light green light, but then gets distracted by Thanus. As Thanus is talking to her, a bee lands on Kangmina's neck, and Thanus tells her to check it out, but she doesn't believe it. But when she realizes he was telling the truth, she absolutely freaks out and realizes that she's out of the games. But little did she know, she would get shot right in the face after this happened. You should be less clumsy, girl. Let's move on to the 4th person on this list now. This one is definitely more sad than Kangmina's. Moving on to Kimyong Mi now. She makes her first appearance in the games in episode 4 in the 2nd game with Chosang Wu. She also sticks with Gumja, Park Young-sik, and even Seon Neo. Ugh. But sadly she passes away in episode 5 during the game Mingle, and it's actually so tragic. In the 4th round of Mingle, players are told to join a group of 6. As she's running to the safe door, she falls, and Haewonju tries to save her, but Lee Mi-young-gi pushes Haewonju into the room because the timer is almost done. There's no more time, leaving Kimyong Mi behind. This could have easily all been avoided. This is honestly a very sad death because she was with her team the entire time and then all of a sudden she was not. I feel like this could have been avoided if her team had more care. I know it's not their fault, but this scene is just so sad because she was almost at the door, guys. You don't understand. The show is so dark, they decide to even show her crying in the middle of the door and then she gets shot. I feel so bad for her, and I think the audience also actually found this scene very, very sad. Alright guys, so the 3rd person on this list is Thanus. Oh, I'm excited to talk about this one. Thanos' death was more sad, not because of him dying, but because of the audience's reaction. Thanus got introduced to us in episode 3, season 2, and that's when we realized he wasn't just any player, he was special. Thanus came to his brutal end though in episode 7 in the last episode of season 2 when he faced Lee Mi-young-gi, player 333. I don't think anyone else expected him to die this early on, especially from player 333, because he was always beating his butt. The reason Thanus absolutely disliked Lee Mi-young-gi was because he made Thanus in debt. Not on purpose, but he was the cause of Thanus losing a lot of money. But Lee Mi-young-gi had enough towards the end. When a battle occurred between the X and O team, Lee Mi-young-gi fought Thanus. Thanus is obviously overpowering him, choking Lee Mi-young-gi on the floor. But then the most unexpected thing happens. Thanus' eyes go wide. But why? Lee Mi-young-gi stuck a fork up Thanos' neck in the middle. What the hell? Thanus died by this small fork in such a deadly area. And I can respect Thanus for fighting clean though, like a real man. But if player 333 didn't have a fork, he would have been the one dead, and the audience did not expect Thanus to die this quickly. I wish we saw him in season 3. The 2nd person on this list now is Simi. Simi's death was actually very, very sad. Simi was this girl who had the back of one of the weakest players in the games, called Minsu. She made sure no one would use him, for example, from players like Namingyo, and that was very thoughtful of her. In episode 6, she meets her death by Namingyo during Lights Out. During Lights Out, Namingyo targets Simi. He does not like her one bit. When Minsu sees Namingyo attack her, he throws a glass bottle on the ground. But that doesn't really do anything, and that's not enough to stop him. So Namingyo continues to attack Simi, and ends up stabbing her on the ground with glass. She was a very good person, and the audience really loved her. It was very sad to see her pass away like this. Alright guys, now we are coming to an end, and I'm going to be speaking about the saddest death to occur in Squid Game Season 2. It might even be the saddest death in the whole of Squid Game, if I'm being honest. Jung Bay. Jung Bay was a huge surprise to Jihoon when Jihoon found out he was in the games. Jihoon was so confused and shocked to see him there. And honestly, he was quite angry at him because he knew what he got himself into, but Jung Bay was clueless to knowing the real truth yet. In the final episode of season 2, Jihoon rebels against the games with some other players. Sadly, some of them pass away, but Jihoon and Jung Bay stick together towards the end, but then has to come face to face with the frontman. The frontman wants to teach Jihoon a lesson for going against the game's rules by shooting his best friend right in front of him. When this scene occurred, Jihoon fell to the ground and absolutely wept away. The frontman was very cruel for this, and he doesn't care one bit, but this was a very sad scene to witness. Jihoon had already been through enough, so for him to see his best friend die in the brutal games is probably gonna haunt him for quite a bit of time. Squid Game Season 3 is only 60 days away, and fans are going absolutely crazy. It seems so far away still, but it's coming soon, guys, so let's keep our head up for it. But anyways, for my next video, guys, I want you to pick what I should do next. I love to hear your thoughts, so I'd appreciate if you guys could give me some ideas for it. But that's about it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like and subscribe once again if you enjoyed it. And if you guys want to check out my recent video, I'm going to put it on the middle of the screen right now. It's a crazy video. It might even be better than this one. So I'll see you guys in the next upcoming video. Peace out and take care, everyone. Goodbye.